Ooh, that dirt's not going to help him as we got Espez, who has been saving fuel. Does he have enough to finish this lap going all out? Taking a look down the inside as he gets covered up. Oh, we're going to go 3 wide into the hairpin.
3 wide. Hawkin makes it stick on the right side. Better run for Williams on the left. Espez chooses the left as well. Hawkin now stuck side by side as Espez goes for a 3 wide move. Heading towards Cunningham. Espez bullies his way back up to the point. Williams with the preferred line. Hawkin makes it 3 wide again. Hawkin and Williams late break. Side by side still.
Tolanen's got one of the best runs we've seen from him yet, and this could be the overtake he's been looking for. He pulls up on him, staying to the inside. Partanen stays down low as they come towards the braking into 1 and 2. A little bit of a back off from Tolanen, even though he's good on the binders. Oh, but he shakes him off the racing line and pulls the over-under, and he gets past Partanen.
Gonna poke his nose to the inside, going down into turn 10. That sweeping right-hander. Oh, contact! Newhook gets the worst of it.
He tries to woe it up. Can he? He does keep it on course, amazingly. I thought he was going to have to cut the chicane, but now look at all of them swamping side to side as there's a little bit of a brush into the right front fender of Newhook's car. Now a little bit of banging between himself and Calgill, trying to hold on to it. They are getting rough out there. We still have 28 minutes to go.
Joe, that was almost 4 wide coming down into turn 1. I don't know if I've ever seen that much aggression here out of these MX-5s.
Under braking, who is the bravest here? More lap traffic in front of him. It looks like Reynolds goes a little bit deeper, but is it too deep? No, he gets ahead. Thomas O'Leary cannot hold him back. Blake Reynolds is back up to the point, fighting back now. It's going to come down through the stadium section and the inside with Thomas O'Leary. The shorter line and a spin from Blake Reynolds gives it up. Get one more good shot here, but passing into Rents. I don't know about that. Side by side in the last corners will be sketchy. Lap traffic staying out of the way. Hammer defends to the inside. Burns around the long way. And he's going to have to take to the runoff because there's a little bit of nudge between them. Comes back to the racetrack, but he's behind as Hammer exits the final corner. Hammer is going to take the win here at Austria. The Red Bull Ring has seen its fair share of drama in all its guises, but today it'll experience racing in a bit of a different way. The Nissans and Audis almost always bring wild racing no matter where they go. For a circuit sponsored by an energy drink, both drivers and fans will need those wings for this race as we get ready to watch round 11 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. I am Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Robert O'Brien. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Since the Red Bull Ring is one of the newer venues introduced to iRacing, let's head down to our track guide to find out a bit more about it. Welcome to the Red Bull Ring. Located near Spielberg, Austria, this track began life in a much more fast and sweeping format. Having gone through multiple different owners, it eventually was snatched up by Red Bull and has its 3 different layouts you see today. While they range roughly between 1 to 2.5 miles in length, the thing they hold in common are fast straights, hard braking zones, and very few corners. In fact, the longest and most common layout, the Grand Prix course, has only 9 of them. Spots like Remus and Gosser are the most popular corners for overtakes, but both involve dramatic elevation changes. Each have their perils. Remus tends to see drivers make contact when the blind cutback often goes wrong, whereas Gosser tempts you into braking far too late, and the downhill nature shoots cars miserably into the gravel. A few swift bends still scatter the track, with turns like Lauda, Rent, or A1 really testing a driver's accuracy at high speeds. However, most of them don't send you off into the grass. Rather, there is a lot of paved runoff. But they often include some nasty curves most cars will want to avoid hitting, as they've been known to damage suspension and undertrays. A variety of types of racing compete here, with everything from lower Formula open-wheelers to motorcycles, touring cars, and all the way up to Formula One holding events regularly. Set among the gorgeously picturesque Alps, and including great racing on a challenging and history-rich circuit, it's easy to see why fans and drivers are both eager every time they come for a race. Well, Rob, we were talking about it before the race. It should be at least a track that gives space to the drivers to try and deal with the traffic, but it's also a very short lap. How are we expecting this to go for Kamel?
The length is shorter, the width is much longer. As we said, plenty of off-road for the cars to go side-by-side racing. Well, of course, but it's not going to be the easiest of tracks, even though it is quite short at 2.6 miles or 4.3 kilometers, with only 9 corners out there to get our heads around. It's going to be a very, very particular track, though. Tale of two halves. Nicky Lauda corner, and that first one, then a long run up to Remus, turn to the right and to Schlossgold. 2 straightaways to give as much slipstreaming as possible for overtakes, and then into the absolutely technical sections through Rausch and Wörth, into Linz and to A1. Now, I haven't remembered what the A1 stood for in terms of lore for this track, but the big things for these cars, for Kamel, is going to be those 2 straights, especially for the GTPs. They're going to be drafting around there at every single turn around Spielberg in Austria.
Indeed. I can't remember what the A1 stands for, but I do know it's also sometimes called Red Bull Mobile, but I just completely outright reject that as a corner name for various reasons. In the meantime, we're going to take a look at the championship, starting with the prototypes, where it could be finished today. 26 points between them, but Haycox and Sintez Galindo are the only 2 with drop points, and Haycox has 4 to his name. By our math, that means that Sintez Galindo needs to outscore Hugh by 5 points, or this season is over for the championship in the prototypes. Fabian Jungbluth of a Trangrade, John Keefe, of course, rounding out the top 5 with Jungbluth and Trangrade technically in it as well, but he'd need to outscore him by even more, so they need Hugh to have a bad day. And then over in the GTOs, a bit similar here, Rob, but a lot of cars that are in contention.
Practically taped together at the top there. Nicolas Mucanos leads that with 145 points. Hideki Kavisto down 17 points at the current tally of 128. Then 126, or 2 points behind him, is Jamie Hamill-Smith. So a very tight race for the top 3. Nicolas Mucanos needs to outscore both of them in the current sort of scaling of the points to be able to secure his victory, but he'll probably will be fighting till the very end in the last race of the season. Ben Laughter just 23 points behind that, and then Niels Kor, who jumped up into the top 5 with a two place gain actually on the last race, and he has to really keep gunning it because Martioli is not too far behind him.
Yeah, the big difference there on those GTOs is, of course, they have no drop points in many of the cases amongst them. So that makes it a little simpler for us to figure out. Now, let's take a look at today's race, which is going to be shorter than what we witnessed last week. If you watched last time, it was the Enduro format at 60 minutes. Now, it is only 40, which is their standard race. It's about a sprint for them with no pit stops. It is open setup. They also don't have a spare car. So if you do have to visit pit lane for damage repairs, it's going to hurt extra bad. And watch out for those drive-through penalties at 17 incidents, because as was mentioned, it's a modern Formula One Grand Prix track, so there's lots of paved runoff, and it's easy to get a little greedy out there today. Now, right now, Hugh Haycox has the provisional pole, and he just finished his second lap, which did not count, and he could be vulnerable because of that, but I see nobody within 3.5 tenths of a second, so there is some time to be made up by his competitors.
I mean, if he wanted to continue on this route, right, and if he wanted to continue as he is, he's going to be absolutely flying. But Haycox is the kind of person that we both know, Joe. He isn't the one to sit around, even in the PlayStation 2. I mean, lightning fast for its time. just like Hugh Haycox, lightning fast around this track. And he is coming up through the critical sections that I was talking about before. Actually, while we have a number 12 of Ovi Trangrade coming out of the pits, he is actually coming through another section, the pit stops. If any driver does start from the pits, it might be a possibility with that many cars out on track. Keep an eye, a little bit of an eye towards that pit, because if they come out into traffic, ooh, that's going to be, and here we go. Poor Trangrade trying to get his way around the track.
Ooh, and Niels Kor just took the provisional pole away from Mukanos to make that Andre Schumacher now. It's getting swapped around. I thought Mukanos had that one wrapped up, but he is finding himself topped by multiple other drivers, looking to see if anybody else could maybe try and challenge him today, and I'm not seeing many of the quick ones left trying to run in those GTOs. Togo Hisada just gets within a tenth of a second of Hugh Haycox with his first lap. So Togo up to the front row. He's going to try and repeat his podium from earlier this morning in the Lotus 49s down at Phillip Island, as we now watch Antti Lepisto back once again and trying to shake off that rust. He's finished one lap and is now on his second flyer.
And with that was actually a great first lap as well. Even if he is not fully polished up and fully ready. I mean, to be within 0.5 of a second to Hugh Haycox on your first flyer after being out of the game for essentially what is forever now for these guys. These are quite specialist vehicles having to go around. I mean, putting your right foot down isn't necessarily the best thing in these cars. It'll turn around on you quicker than the 20 swing dance video. But it's, you can just see that back stepping out quite viciously as he's coming around into having to use all the curb he can, basically hugging every single curb, hugging that green patch there is not a thing to miss, it's a thing to target. Try and make sure that your wheels are touching it in the right place, making sure that you've picked up the rubber at the right place, and here he comes. Does he make another good lap?
Across the line, and it's a 15.6. That's a tenth faster. That'll actually get him a few spots as it's very tight in that midfield. He'll start from 5th place. And that'll make him happy. Juteau just crossed and put himself 17th into his class down to the GTOs. Trangrade's already completed his. And I think John Cope is just finishing his qualifying 20 flat. That's an improvement of more than half a second. Only gets him one spot to 27th, unfortunately. And that is not it. We still have one more driver to go. Pablo Suarez here in the 22. Let's see if he can manage to get higher than this 21st position as he completes this lap. It is going to be a 16.3. Wow, 1.3 seconds faster. That'll put him into 16th spot. That is the last of our qualifiers done here today. So let's go through our starting order. Hugh Haycox has managed to put it on the pole with Togo Hisada starting from 2nd place. It is Christian Tanahato who is starting from 3rd, and that is a new face I don't think we've seen before here on Saturdays. Ove Trangrade starts from 4th with Antti Lepisto returning. In 5th place, Austin Campbell will be P6. It is Matthias Hovdal, who won last week, who starts from 7th, as Laust Olsen will be 8th and Ardo Iamaki 9th. Heitor Sintes Galindo Goodenough for 10th. Fabian Jungbluth will be P11. Then you've got Martin Krajcik to his outside. Xavier Sanchez in for P13 as Gianluca Gabbiani starts 14th and Javier Mascara 15th. Then it's Pablo Suarez, P16 for him. Mike Reuter starts 17th and Jorge Zuniga will be in 18th. Doug Cloud, 19th for him. Second of our slides finished by Romain Belorgi. You've got Stefan Leslie in 21st. Then it's Joseph Mudrack in 22nd, Cam Porter 23rd, and Sebastian Montoya in 24th. Big field here today in the GTPs. Jonathan Rickard, 25th. Arnaud Pisani in 26th with John Cope and Kyle Graham, the last two to set times. Exposito, Manuel Segret, and Christian Arribas will round out your GTP field, not setting times.
GTOs, led by Schumacher, Andre Schumacher, car number 40, in first position. In second will be Niels Kor. Then third, Nicholas Buchanos. Then down from there, it'll be Reed Miller, Jamie Hamill-Smith, Ben Lafter, Franco Scuri, Devin Donaghy, Marty Ole, and Hideki Koivisto. And then finally, Netjin Cameron running at the top 10 for those guys. As we go down the order, Mika Tupola in 12th, Mark Ole in 13th, 14th, Ian Haycox needs to get up there with his brother. Sol. Oh no, sorry, his father. Sorry,
yeah,
father. Oh dear, they're gonna cuss me up for that one. Fabio Sol in 15th, Michael Haynes in 16th, Andre Juto in 17th. Boyfia in 18th, didn't set a lap time, and Brian Lavrisa, correction, in 19th, not setting a lap time.
Whew, 50 cars here today. It is going to be a full track out there. Hopefully everybody can keep it clean, as we've already started off on the pace lap, and it is pretty good conditions for our drivers. 23 Celsius, 73 Fahrenheit, and only a tiny bit of wind out there to deal with it. As they come around out of Rinse, the pace car pulls in. Haycox will have control of the fields. Does he take off early? No, he's going to hold him up, and he might catch Hisada out. Yes, he does. Hisada was caught napping big time as everybody streams by. Green flag is out, and he is going to fall well down the order as Haycox takes it up into Lauda. Single file for those two. We go 3 wide behind them. Thankfully, it looks like we're going to be able to get away with that one. Behind a little bit of a spin in the backfield, but otherwise we're good. Let's go to the GTOs.
In GTOs, we have Andre Schumacher leading Niels Kor. Niels Kor trying to go in on the inside. Oh my goodness gracious. That's Niels Kor going on the inside, making it the lead on the first turn. Past Niki Lauda. Andre Schumacher had a great start, but was left napping. And now he's got Nicholas Buchanos looking to push him up through the first turn into the second turn. Come on the right hand. Does he make a move? No, he doesn't. Reed Miller is also there trying to make things difficult for every single one of them. Absolutely magnificent start there for Niels Kor.
Ooh, look at that exit coming out of Remus for Ben Lafter. He is going to try and put a move on Reed Miller as they go side by side for fourth place down into Schlossgold. Around the outside, looks like Reed's going to try and hang tough. He's given space by Ben. This carries on down into the infield now.
Into the infield goes Reed Miller. Ben Lafter having to yield finally. He's on the outside of the corner and coming into Worth. He might have the inside. He does ever so slightly have his nose out to the left hand side. He doesn't make the move. Coming into Worth, needs to hold on because Ben Lafter will absolutely snap and bite at the heels when possible. Reed Miller is absolutely not to sleep. He's absolutely not to blink even. He needs to keep focused as Ben Lafter also is chased by Jamie Hamill-Smith. By the way, Niels Kor just running away immediately. He's already a second and 3/10 ahead of Andre Schumacher.
And good news for fans of Nick Buchanos. He's doing what he needs to do to try and clinch today. As I think, did we have? Oh, we got 3 wide for 17th in the GTPs. My goodness, and it is getting frantic down there. Balorgi with Cloud to his inside. Zuniga was involved in it as they come down to Schlossgold. And they're going to go 3 wide again. They bang doors. And Balorgi is going to come away with it. Look at shooting through the middle. That was Mike Reuter with a brilliant maneuver.
Mike Reuter probably screaming in his cockpit going, please step aside, I need to race, as he's trying to make sure that his racecraft doesn't get doored by anyone around. There was a lot of confusion there coming into that third corner. Everybody was trying to navigate around like having a map right in front of them, using the atlas, trying to make sure that everybody was keeping it tidy. And they did actually keep it tidy for the most part, apart from that one door bang. But car 31 now threatening the car number 39, Mike Reuter, having gained a few positions, is under threat immediately from Jorge Zuniga, and the car number 31 is not going to let him up. Oh crikey, that's Doug Cloud, by the way, and I think that's the Coca-Cola car, having a little bit of a look on the inside. Ooh.
Yeah, over the curbs there, that was Montoya as well, going a bit wide through Lauda. Don't want to damage the underside of these cars. They produce a lot of downforces. Doug Cloud's going to go deep into Remus. Too deep, both of them. All three of them completely off the course. And eventually, who is going to be able to get the accelerator down? It looks like Jorge is first, and he's got the inside, but coming back at him, Doug Cloud has the straight line speed. He is completely through. Can he make the corner this time? I don't know. He goes deep once again, keeps it out of the gravel. Not so for Montoya, who touches a little bit of it, and all of them somehow are still rolling after that wildness.
Yeah, that was a hold your breath and make sure that you don't scream moment, because everybody was trying to navigate turn 2 and trying not to go over the soft curbs. As you said before, slow damage in these cars is a death sentence, and I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form to be facetious. Oh, crikey, that is the car from 50 having to go wide and around. These cars will suffer considerably.
It was an ambitious move, and it's carrying on down into Lauda, who's going to be the latest of the late breakers. Managing to find his way through. Looks like that is going to give the spot to Montoya. No, it looked like Leslie had it, and Montoya takes it right back. As this has been happening, Mukanos got passed by Reed Miller, as he must have missed a shift or something out of Remus this time by. So Miller gets up to third, but Mukanos still in position to claim the championship where he sits today. Oh, we got a big wreck coming out of Schlossgold. Oh,
that's gonna hurt. Oh, dearie me, that is flipping the pancake.
And Gabbiani, looks like Sintez Galindo. Oh, and Sintez Galindo may have just given the championship to Hugh Haycox with that error.
That is flipping the pancake, but then it flips very badly, and I can safely say now that is Aitor Sintez Galindo's race over. That is not recoverable damage whatsoever. Absolutely, in every way of the word, absolutely gone.
So who did this start with? Was that Sintez Galindo? Oh, wow. His own error, and unfortunately caused a bad day for more than one person as well. And as we, I think, get ready to come back live. No, we're going to take one more angle at it.
It's just, I'll say it again. It's like flipping a pancake. But the worst thing is that you can just see how much damage the car has suffered. Look at these cars. Look how much damage. That would not only end your race, probably end your season with the amount of damage you'd have to repair nothing.
Niels Kors on your screen, leading by about 3 seconds over Andre Schumacher currently. Kors has certainly been on a bit of a run recently, as I believe, he's got one of the victories of recent races and has boosted himself up into 5th in the points. But he came in a little late, and I don't think he realistically has a shot at the championship, though he is mathematically in it. We'll see where he winds up after today. Let's hop up to second in the GTPs, though, because Tanahato is still ahead of Hisada right now. This is the battle for second in this class, and Togo's been making sure to fill those mirrors for a couple laps now.
But that's the aim of the game. You have to put yourself, or if you're the chasing car, you have to put yourself in the mirrors and just the equivalent of saying, I'm right here, I'm standing right here, I'm not going to overtake you, but I'm right here. I know you feel that pressure. You know, that's sort of the poking the bear and making sure that, oh, crikey, as they come through GTO traffic, you have to fill the mirrors. One of the greatest things that you can do with filling the mirrors is they do a Mick Hakkinen Schumacher split. Not enough straightaway to do it, though. But filling the mirrors, making sure that everybody is sort of very acutely aware. I can pass you right now. I'm right here. I have the substream. Oh, someone going inside.
But they're being a little bit held up. This is Ian Haycox in front of him. He's going to act as a pick, potentially, but which side? Does he pressure him in? No, he's going to give him space. Now it's a drag race. Togo on the inside, Christian on the outside. Coming up to the Lauda corner. The first turn on the track, it's blind, it's a right-hander, and it's going to be Togo who takes second away with that move.
Togo took his Weetabix and ate them very well this morning, because that was a great move. And by the way, that isn't the end of it. And that is Isto trying to overtake Ove Tangerite. He is actually on the inside. We also do have the Togo. He bad off the corner. It's all going wrong for Togo. He just couldn't get off the corner fast enough. He was trying to find the gear, and the gear wasn't there. The synchro mesh wasn't working, and the car at number 1 trying to overtake Ove Trangrate failed as well.
Yeah, it's gone back to how it was. Christian back in 2nd, Togo in 3rd, Trangrate P4, and Lepisto in 5th. You saw in there, Matthias Hovdahl was involved, Laust Olsen was in there. There was a whole slew of cars that are essentially fighting for 4th place, and Trangrate's not done with them as they continue to try and weave their way through the traffic. They're coming up to more of it. That's Marty Ollie in front. Gonna look to the inside, try and take the apex away from them. Trangrate barely gets his nose in his left space and somehow doesn't lose a position.
Trangrate taking a very brave move there through A1 and having to come into Niki Lauda with a scream of multi-class cars, not just his own, but the GTOs are all around. They haven't separated much. Actually, quite surprisingly, I would have thought that there would have been much smaller groups, but it's just a stream of cars right about now, because they've all been racing their hearts out, and it's been good to see. That's car number 16. Remember, the car number 16 is Nicholas McConnell's. They're at the end of the sort of bottle of the cork, the neck of the bottle. Once they're out of the neck of the bottle, off they go. That is full racing for them. So he needs to get as much of a gap, just a little bit of a cushion, and it's not going to go work for him.
Yeah, and Mukanos, I was incorrect before. Ben Laughter, having gotten by him, will not clinch as it sits there. Oh, and he gets a big shove in the side from Iamaki. He goes way off into the gravel. He's trying to collect it up. He's losing positions. Hamill Smith, Scurry, Donaghy all get through before he's finally back on the track.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely tears for Nicholas. This is where he needs to collect as many points as possible, and he's out of sync now. He's down 4 positions from just now, and it's going to be difficult for him to get by, because look at the amount of traffic there is.
Somebody getting into the side of one of our prototypes. That's Zuniga, who gets spun. It was Hideki Koivisto, actually, the main rival to Mukanos in the points battle, who tipped into him.
That is going to be a bit of a sad moment there for
he just got involved in more of it. Doug Cloud gets sent off. Did Mukanos make contact that time? No, it was the car in front of him. It was Devin Donaghy, but it just about collected Nick.
Yeah, Nicholas is he's in the middle of an absolute battle. He's battling for the car, and he's battling everybody around him. Look at the gaps. Look how they're going side by side. They're just not giving up. None of them want to give up the space. Devin Donaghy is trying to pass Marty Ole on the inside, and there's going to be another car. That's going to be Hideki Koivisto, who we all know is a cracking racer, but he is absolutely stuck. He's stuck behind 3 of the cars that are just meleeing with each other and not giving up an inch. By the way, Andre Schumacher, what's gone wrong? He's lost 2nd place.
I'm guessing he got some help here, and I think...
Oh, no.
Oh, it was like the brakes didn't work on Ben Laughter, and he got into the back of him, sent him into the wall. Oh, and that car is badly damaged.
That is one very sad Andre Schumacher car. And by the way, Nicholas McConnell, no, it's all gone wrong again.
Oh, this championship could have been wrapped up today, and it's looking less and less like that. Some ghost contact with Stefan Leslie put him out into the runoff of A1. He didn't hit the wall, but where is he now? He's 14th. If he goes 2 more positions down, he's actually out of the points.
I will say this. The championship not only has just not been settled, it's been blown wide open, like a Christmas cracker has been blown wide open, and the president is inside for whoever finishes on top. By the way, Niels Court is ahead in now. He's screaming away, and 5 seconds ahead of Ben Laughter, who is in 2nd. By the way, and back to this, by the way, it's actually all quiet on the Western Front for Hugh Haycox. He's 12 seconds ahead of Tanaho.
It's the only thing that's quiet right now in this race. This thing has been more frantic than an Austrian yodeler with his shoes on fire. We watch him. This is Christian, actually, the number 4 car, being chased by Hisada for second place. Those two still quite close to one another. And we can report that Schumacher has retired for the day. Unfortunate, but this means that Ben Lafter, who's been on 3 second places already this season, is looking for a 4th as he's up to P2.
Needs to put in some good laps. He's not got the same pace as Niels Score. Niels Score is one of the fastest.
Oh, sorry, Christian just went off. Hisada takes that spot with ease. Christian outbroke himself into Schlossgold and just skittered off into the runoff. So looks like he is going to have some work to do, but based on what we've seen from the traffic, I have a feeling he'll get opportunities.
Pretty sure Togo Hisada is looking at the side of his car. It says Canon on the side. This story is now Canon that he's in second place, and the car number 9 absolutely gunning it now, trying to make sure that he can get a gap. He's not the fastest GTP out there, but he is putting in consistent laps. His last lap was a 1:17.073. This lap was a 1:17.161. So within a tenth of each other. So very consistent pace. And that's all he needs to do. Hugh Haycox, 1:16.615. Yeah, 4/10 of a second ahead of everybody else and climbing.
If we could hop to 7th in the prototypes, Laust Olsen is being chased by Suarez and Sanchez as they approach Remus now, very close, and Suarez thinks about it. He shows his nose at the very least. They're not too far behind Ove Trangrate as well. A little slow off the corner from the 7 car. Excuse me, from the 22 car, and the 7 car is chasing, and he's going to try and see if he can get to the inside of him down into Schlossgold. He does get a nose in. He's given just enough space, but he doesn't get the grip off the corner as Suarez denies him.
By the way, Pablo Suarez has gained 8 positions so far in this race. He started 16th. He's up into 8th already, and I don't think he would want to give any more inch than he needs to. I think he just wants to, keep going forward, tackling Laust Olsen. Oh, crikey, that is one very sad. Oh.
Yeah, John Cope. He got some help, actually. Ian Haycox got into the back of him. It's one of those things that we see often in this series. The GTOs just get better grip off the corners, don't always anticipate how slow the Nissans can be as they try to get on the throttle.
Coming through traffic now, that is going to be side-by-side action between, I think that is side-by-side, between Marty Ole and Devin Donaghy. Devin Donaghy still trying to hold off Marty Ole, car number 29, as they come through traffic. It's going to be quite difficult, though, because traffic is shuffling them through and through. It's not just shuffling one way, it's shuffling side to side, and it's shuffling, Devin Donaghy into an awkward position where Marty Ole gets the really nice line, but Donaghy having to sort of suffer it through, coming on the inside, defending into the second last. That is going to be Marty Ole on the outside. Nope, nothing doing.
Almost had the speed to go the rest of the way around, but Donaghy drifted out enough to deny him that momentum. Here we go again along the front stretch. This is for 6th place right here, and poking his nose, Marty Ole feels confident enough that he can try to get this done up and across Lauda. And he's got it ahead, still just about shoves him off the track, gives him enough space, but that caused hesitation for the 25. He'll get another bite at the apple as they come up to Remus. He's got the speed, but he doesn't have the desired line round the outside as they both get on the binders, and they've got the leader behind them. That's Hugh Haycox, just by his father, and he is going to be able to cleanly get away. The battle carries on. It just does not end, Rob.
Marty Ole is missing his gear shifts. He's losing time to Donaghy, who has clean gear shifts. Coming on the inside, coming in. Turn number 3, needs to hold on. Hold on for dear life as he come around into the technical sections, into Remus and Wirth. Coming through, keeping it nice and tiny. Hold it steady. Make sure that you do not go on the outside. Keep it nice and tidy. Make sure that GTP stays where he's put. Yes, indeed he does. That is going to be perfect for Marty Ole as he tries to hold off Devin Donaghy, who, by the way, Devin Donaghy's good gear shifts. Marty Ole has bad gear shifts. Marty Ole seems to be bouncing up the limiter on the inside. Too much braking.
way too far into the corner, and Donnie is thankful for that paved runoff, but he's going to lose another one. There goes Ian Haycox. That's 2, maybe 3 positions down. Hideki Koivisto, who's desperately trying to keep his championship hopes alive, goes on through into 8th place. Job not completely done. Looking for the over-under. Donnie, he can't find it. That's 3 spots in the course of about 3 corners.
He absolutely, he sent it and then forgot that the brakes existed. But he did very well.
Oh, something's happened to Hisada. Hisada's in pit lane missing his nose.
Oh, no, please.
Something big has happened. Oh, and it involved Mukanos. Oh, no.
Oh,
Big
no,
hit. We need a replay of this. The number 9 just a bit ago, and if we stick with the replay after he hits the wall, Ove Trangerade has a frightening escape from a wreck. Watch this.
That's heart attack moment.
Just came across the bow of Mukanos, gets it pointed forward. Wow, and he holds onto it through the grass. The 12 with a heart attack.
That's over Trangerade, by the way, and I'm pretty sure he had a little bit of a moment to himself and probably will need to step outside after this race is done and just sort of breathe, because holy moly, that was a big old oh my goodness moment.
Yeah, you can see they were splitting Mukanos. That was Christian Tanahato, and unfortunately it did not go well for Togo in the end, so he had to come down pit lane, and I think he's having to take some massive repairs after that. Well, let's try and catch our breath real quick. Hugh Haycox still leads, and it's by a whopping 18 seconds over Christian in that number 4 machine. That's in the GTPs. Niels Core, less of a gap, but still the decent one over Reed Miller by about 7.5 seconds. At some point, Miller must have passed Laughter, because last I reported, Laughter was in P2, and he's actually falling down to 4th right now, because I think Hamill Smith is fighting side by side. That's Jamie, and the 24 can't get the job done there.
Yeah, I do think on that last lap, Laughter had a massive issue, because he was 4 seconds slower than Reed Miller, and I think Reed Miller just went by and said, "Thank you for the position, I'll have that, thank you very much." And crikey, that is. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I found it. It was Kyle Graham that he made contact with at one point on that previous lap. But yeah, still action on screen also happening as the GTPs try and find their way by. Sorry for getting in there, Rob, but it looks like Jamie is not done yet with Ben.
No, he's never done with the Laughter. The Laughter doesn't stop until the race is over, as we've said so many times, or I've said so many times before. You know, he'll have the last laugh, but Jimmy Hamilton-Smith isn't any slouch either, and he's threatening to cut off that podium in a very big way as he comes through traffic. He has slipped back a little bit, but I mean, that's probably for the best, so the traffic can get through nice and neatly without having to upset his race. He let the traffic through, get back to racing, off he goes. You know, everything is looking up for him, because that gap's actually slightly contracting.
Okay then. So we see them go by Andre Juteau. This is Laust Olsen trying to catch back up to Sanchez, and Suarez manages to navigate past the 45 machine, but he's lost a lot of ground up to the 3 in front of him, all fighting for a top 5. Laughter in the meantime here is still seeing if he can catch back up to Miller while also rebuffing Jamie Hamill-Smith. I think they got another of our GTPs coming through pretty soon. That looks to be Jungbluth.
By the way, the sound these cars make, I'm only saying this with the Quattro GTOs, they're the best sound ever, but that's Fabian, Xavier Sanchez and Pablo Suarez going side by side, going into, Niki Lauda, very close indeed. Skip to the 6th position here for the GTPs, and it is side by side still. That is going to be car number 7, car number 22 going side by side, car number 7 on the left hand side, car number 22 on the right hand side of your screens, coming around, still side by side. That's going to be very good line between both of them. Coming down into the 3rd turn, needs to make sure, this is where Pablo Suarez needs to do the running around the outside and keep it successfully around the outside. Pinching.
Just about has it, but no better speed on the exit. Looks like Sanchez is going to be able to out-accelerate Suarez. Gets the job done. Sanchez into P6. I'm amazed that they haven't lost more time up to Trangrade in front of them. I would have thought all that door-to-door racing would have cost them a fair bit as they go around the outside of our leader, Niels Core, in the GTOs. Catching back up to him. Suarez thinks about it into Rent, then reconsiders. Both of them going a little bit wide around that one. And now through A1 and onto the front stretch once again. Whew, we still have 16 minutes left to go in this thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need all of my willpower because I'm running out of breath. Just keeping up with the amount. Oh my goodness, Martioli's towed.
Oh, well, he was doing very well before. I'm not sure what caused this. We'll have to check into it as we watch Hugh Haycox on your screen. The gap is now up to 23 seconds over his nearest rival. This has been Hugh Haycox doing exactly what he needs to do. Even if Aitor Sintes Galindo had not wrecked today, this has been Hugh on another tear. And let me check to see his record here lately.
So we'll just come back to, we'll just watch this as they come side by side. I think that's on the inside. I just found out what happened to Martioli.
Oh, over the curb.
His engine exploded.
Oh. And there's probably what caused it, because he nosed it straight into the Armco pretty hard. Scale Extrix will have to be packed up and put away in the toy box for now, unfortunately. And yeah, I was double checking on Hugh Haycox. Won last time out at Spa, so I was incorrect on that. It wasn't that time that Hovdal won that one. That was
oh no, we've had an oh, that's a turnaround, or that's Tanato turning around anti-Lepisto around into turn 2.
Oof. So that means Hovdal is now up into P2. Trangrade gets promoted to 3rd, and Christian is bumped down into 4th.
You know, it's not gonna be good news for it's gonna be good news for Matthias, who has a bit more of a gap now to the next car behind him. He just needs to race his own race, keep putting in the good laps as he has. Might need to go a little bit faster, but you know, not to worry about that. But what needs to be worried about is hopefully Trangrade. Oh,
that's Zuniga going a little bit wide. And that's Leslie, who's going to be able to take advantage of it as they head towards Schloskel, downhill, braking into here. And Leslie's got the inside, but can he get the car woed up? Yes, he can. That's going to net him 17th place.
Just a word of caution for over Trangrade.
Mukanos is in pit lane. What happened? Oh, no. Mukanos along the front stretch got tangled up with Andre Juteau, and that has caused him to take a tow.
And he's retired. Oh!
He has. There's the replay.
Just to say, by the way, Ian Haycox, he's going to be my driver of the day. Simply because... And simply because, through all this carnage, he's been very quiet.
Yeah, that is an accomplishment in and of itself. Where did he start this race, though?
I think he started. Let me just double check for you. I know he started. He's gained 14 positions. 14. According to my top stopwatch.
Well, yeah,
that's overall though.
He deserves some kudos. Well, yeah, okay, yeah, and some of those are drivers who have wrecked out from the faster class, but even still, yeah, that is quite impressive. In the meantime, we've come back to Tanahato, who is running in 6th, just ahead of Anti Lepisto. They're trying to catch up to Suarez and Sanchez in front of them, but they're split. Whoa, down the inside. That was a late move from Lepisto. I didn't even expect that one to be coming. I don't think that Christian did either.
Yeah, I think Lepisto probably didn't also see that coming either. I think he saw it the last second. It was like, I either cause a crash or make the move on the inside because I've accidentally outbroke myself. So he did. It's good that he didn't make the move, but he's probably kicking himself, saying that's a bit of a silly move on my part. Let's not have that happen again. I mean, you know, the car looked like he was trying to follow in, and then sort of, you know, as you sometimes do with these cars, it kind of comes faster to you than you think, and it's, oh, I need to actually make the move right now instead of 2 seconds later.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes, especially in this series, because things happen fast. I did double check. Haycox started 14th with him in 7th place now. That means that he is up 7 positions. That is a handy bit of gain for him. You see him on screen. In fact, looks like maybe he's got another one. Is that Koivisto? Yes, that is. That is Hideki Koivisto in 6th ahead of him.
Yeah, Hideki Koivisto falling. He wasn't actually falling backwards. He's more so, and he was in his own element practically throughout the race. You know, did a 1:27.996 in that last lap, which is actually faster than quite a lot of the guys ahead of him. Oh, he's actually faster than the guy in 3rd place, which is Ben Laughter. So he's got his work cut out from right now. Clear air, but traffic is already coming around, and that's poor Ian Haycox having to go around the outside, letting another GTP by. Oh, that is Hideki Koivisto having to hold on for dear life on that steering wheel.
And by the way, I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. We don't need a replay of it, but Lepisto bounded over a curb trying to pass one of the GTOs, so he lost the spot to Christian and to Laust Olsen, falling to 8th. Things change fast around here. 10 minutes left to go now. Hugh Haycox leading the GTPs, Niels Kor leading the GTOs. As we watch Ian Haycox, it's the elder of the two Haycoxes out here racing, getting into the side of his rival Koivisto, narrowly avoiding being spun right there.
Yeah, he backed the wheel to the right very, very sharply down. And I'm just going to have a quick look at it. I think it was just that Hideki was so slow coming off it because he had to go on the outside due to a GTP. Unfortunately, Ian Haycox had the much clearer line coming through Niki Lauda, and just very, very quickly that almost could have been a tragic accident there. But luckily, Ian Haycox whacked the wheel right, avoided it.
So trying to do the math here, which is always dangerous. Mukano says no drop week, so he will score a 0 today. Koivisto, currently sitting in 6th in class, is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 15 points for him. But he came into this at 17 points behind. So he'll close to within 1 point. But then the question is, what is everybody behind him in the points going to be doing? Because that gets all the more complicated. We'll try and keep up to speed on that. We'll see what we can do in the break as we watch Lepisto continue to give chase on Laust Olsen ahead of him.
It's going to be quite difficult actually to do the math, because if we do the math is sort of, it's all sort of relative math, and I'm not good at that. So you know, don't ask me if I need to do any of that. But here we go, more battles in GT. GTPs haven't, as soon as a green flag went, they've just been alive and racing and going at things. This Javier Mosquera in the pink number 20, racing against the car number 26 of Austin William Campbell. I thought the last lap was some, a
little bit of a squirm on the throttle there. That was Campbell, I think, who lost a little bit of the throttle. Austin William Campbell in that 26, so he's going to fall away from Mosquera. Oh, and something happened to Christian Tanahato. The 4 is off the track on the infield portion of the circuit, and I think it was all his own doing. Yeah, he spun off without touching anybody, just the curb.
Car got into a slide, the back end backed out. He didn't want to sort of, you know, try and stabilizing correctly, try doing a drift. Unfortunately, it's not a DB5 drift. You can't do a Sebastian Vettel on these cars. You kind of have to, correct it as you go. Slow down, correct it. I mean, he just wasn't being patient enough, and unfortunately, he paid the price for it and lost quite a lot of time and a few positions actually.
Wow. Okay. I was able to sneak some quick math in on the points championship. It will be Hideki Koivisto within 1 point. Jamie Hamill-Smith tied with him at 1 point behind in second, and Ben Lafter 3 points behind going into the finale. It is going to be a cracker. That's if they finish where they sit right now. Now, that's a lot to ask for this series as Hugh Haycox takes the fastest lap of the race, but my goodness, we are set up for an incredible showdown at the last round.
I think if any of them are listening, I'm pretty sure by saying Ben Lafter will be begging Hamilton-Smith just hold where he is. We can have this tussle at the last race. It can be the be-all end-all, but I think Jamie Hamilton-Smith is already answering his theoretical question with saying, I wish for all of the points. All of the points are belonging to me. This is the car number 24 of Jamie Hamilton-Smith's thinking as he's trying to battle with Ben Lafter coming across the line to do another lap. And look how close the gap is. He's closed it down quite considerably over the last 2 laps. And it's now 0.3 of a second coming into Lauda. Much better line from Hamill as he's closing the gap ever so quickly. Come on, we can do this. Coming into the second corner, that's going to be Jamie Hamilton-Smith closing. He's lifting off though. He's not striking yet. He's not striking yet.
They saw the GTP coming through. That's Christian trying to make space and catch up on time. He's down to 9th and desperately wants to get back up the order. Ben Lafter able to keep his spot. This is the battle for P3. The GTPs we're watching earlier have split up. That was Trangrade and Sanchez, so that's not a fight anymore, but it's also for 3rd place. And Ben Lafter is going to have to fight hard in these final 5 minutes with yet more of our prototypes constantly flying through them. There is just no rest at this stage of the race where it is a conveyor belt of faster class cars.
Yeah, unfortunately, points do not grow on trees for these guys, so they'll have to fight for every position and fight for every point they can get. And as we said, it is going to be an absolutely magnificent race, final race, if everything stays as it is for the GTPs, by the way. Hugh Haycox, he's 24 seconds ahead of everybody.
This is Doug Cloud, I think we see on our screen. Excuse me, this is Torres.
Car number 41, sort of stuck in, I would say no man's land, because he's in a tussle, but the tussle is in a gap of cars where the gaps between them are about 20 seconds. So he can only really gain a few more positions. By the way, just look at this. His little oopsie daisies. Oh, yeah, that's a big old oops. Sliding across turn 2. I'm pretty sure he was hoping he wouldn't hit the sauce curve. No real way, apart from either banking up or doing as he did, to rejoin the racetrack. But I mean,
whoa, that was a big moment there for Doug Cloud, riding on the top of Mika Tupola for a brief moment. Esposito gonna get another one back right there. That was I believe Doug sending it in too deep into Lauda and getting into the side of Mika Tupola's car. I think thankfully they're all able to keep going. Yeah, man, Esposito was very lucky on that initial spin that nobody was on the other side of that apex. Who was the F1 driver that flew across there many years ago, back before it became the Red Bull Ring?
You've caught me at an inopportune moment. I think it was David Coulthard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's either David Coulthard or Mark Webber.
Yeah, that's what it was. So thankfully, this is virtual, so even if it was, we wouldn't have quite the same danger. And wow, just about had a repeat of what we had at Hungary with a car riding on top of one another. And Mike Reuter's just had a problem.
Yeah, Mike Reuter having a spin at turn 1 at Lauda, having to recorrect it. I'm pretty sure it was a self-made spin. No, sorry, it was contact. Let me just see now. We're just coming on my screen anyway, and it was Oh, from a long way back. That was a move that was never going to work. That was, I think...
It was Cam Porter that was off to the side with him. Was that who he ran into?
Yeah, that was Cam Porter coming from a mile and a half back. Unfortunately, that was his doing there. Unfortunately, you know.
Well, right now on screen, we've got our leader, but behind him, it's still close for third in the GTP. Sanchez and Trangarade nose to tail as they come through Remus themselves. That's the car of Nishtun Cameron just in front of them. And I think they should be able to overtake him before they get through Schlossgold. Yes, they are, but look at him using that slipstream. Sanchez trying to make sure and threaten Ove Trangarade at every corner.
Yeah, Ove Trangarade has done well to fight up to this point in the race where he can get into the podium position, but that is going to be Xavier Sanchez on the inside coming through. That is going to be close and lean it battle. Nope, Ove Trangarade sort of using the curve of Worth to get as much speed as possible around the outside. He took it back in, coming up to the last few. By the way, white flag this time for these cars. Hugh Haycox actually took the white flag, I think, about 15 seconds ago.
Yeah, and it was extremely close. He got it in about 1 second under the fastest lap that he has set. Oof, and getting a little bit frantic, maybe trying to poke his nose in places where it's unlikely to get through. Sanchez trying to keep the pressure on. We'll stay with us as long as we can. I'm keeping an eye on Haycox for when we need to jump over to him. And diving down to the inside into Remus. He manages to get wheel to wheel. He gives space to the 12, and now it's a drag race up the hill.
Coming up the hill now as we... Oh, should we jump back to Hugh Haycox? He's about to cross the line. He's just coming around A1 now.
And
sorry, correction, second to last.
Yep, he's got one more corner to go, and it looks like Sanchez is going to get it. Here we go. Hugh Haycox, checkered flag is out. That is it for today. Hugh Haycox is your winner in the GTPs.
And poor Ove Trangarade got overtaken in the same place where Lewis and Alex Albon were battling not too long ago. And Ove Trangarade, with only a few corners to go, has lost the podium unless he can pull off a magnificent comeback. No, he's on the grass. The car wobbled, and that's it.
Oh, it was close. The traffic could have offered him an opportunity. But here's Niels Core. Now, wait a minute. Am I? Oh, interesting. He finished not too far ahead of Reed Miller, but because the GTP leader was between himself and P2, nobody can challenge him at all whatsoever. He's going to finish a lap ahead of his entire class and be the last one across the line. Niels Core, much like Hugh Haycox, perhaps had one of the quietest races of anybody out there, and that's about the best that you can ask for in the Kamel GT series. The number 5 brings it around A1 and takes the win in the GTO class, setting us up for an incredible finish here in the final rounds in a week's time. That's going to take us to a quick break. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Ring. What a race this was. It certainly left a few people angry, but it also left others with hope. Not in the GTPs, though, because Hugh Haycox has clinched the championship in the prototypes. He is your 2021 Season 4 champion. And Kamel GT. Matthias Hovdahl came home with a second place. How about Xavier Sanchez? Gritted up in 13th, did not give up, and hounded Ove Trangrade all the way to the final lap to take that podium spot away. Ove Trangrade finished exactly where he started in 4th, and Pablo Suarez also up the same amount as Xavier from 16th to 5th. It was Antti Lepisto finishing 6th today with Laust Olsen in 7th, then Fabian Jungblut P8 and Christian Tanahato, who certainly had plenty of adventures, finishing P9, as Ardo Iamaki rounds out her first slide in 10th. Then you've got Javier Mosquera in 11th. Romain Belorgi, who had a great moment at the start of the race, going 3 wide, wound up in 12th. Austin Campbell was 13th. Joseph Mudrak, last car on the lead lap, he finished P14, up 8 positions, as Mike Reuter was 15th and Stefan Leslie 16th. And it was Doug Cloud P17, Zuniga 18th, and Esposito in 19th. Christian Arribas rounds out our second slide. And then the last few finishers in the GTPs was Kyle Graham, John Cope, Cam Porter, and Manel Segret. You've got everybody behind them hitting a DNF today. Unfortunately, there was a lot of casualties in the GTPs. However, the setup for the finale, Rob, is looking absolutely stunning in the GTOs.
You know, I feel like I'm going to need a lot of tissues, because Niels Core took the win, and I think we're going to have a discussion as to what the implications are, because it's going to be chess pieces everywhere. And Reed Miller in second place, Ben Lafter in 3rd, Jamie Hamilsmith in 4th. Now these guys are going to be, I think we discussed this, it's going to be top 5 are going to be within 7 points of each other now, because poor Mechanos had a crash, and it was his bad day today, but he'll be back. He still has a chance. It's not over yet. Franco Scudery in 5th. Hideki Calvisto managed to hold off Ian Haycox, who had a great race today for himself. He was actually one of the quiet himself. I feel like the Haycox formula is quiet racing. Yes. Fabio Sal in 8th position. 9th is going to be Neptune Cameron. In 10th is going to be Mika Tupola. Then, actually, another thing as well, Mark Ole. Not his great race today, and as well as Devin Donaghy. Michael Haynes in 13th. Andre Juto in 14th was one of the first guys to actually, was one of the last to retire. And then we have a poor old Nicholas McConnell in 15th, had to retire after multiple amounts of damage. Marty Ole also retired. Andre Schumacher, just, my heart goes out to him. He had such a great qualifying and such a great start, and then it all fell apart. Brian Lavrisa in 18th, and I think Brefia did not take to the grid.
And it looks like we've got our winner and newly crowned champion, Hugh Haycox, ready to talk to us today. Let's get his thoughts on both today's race and this season's championship, because Hugh, by our calculations, you have clinched thanks to partially the misfortune that Aitor experienced, and also to a stunning drive at a 23-second gap. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty happy. I don't think I could be very disappointed. Pole, fastest lap, and a win. Yeah, pretty good.
And a championship on top of it. Is there a sense of relief having finally wrapped that up after how up and down it was at the start of the season?
Yeah, for sure. Judging by the start of the season, I thought it would be a much harder battle. I wasn't even sure I'd get it. But yeah, good driving from everyone else. Aitor and Laust and Fabian, all of them, and Matthias, of course. Great driving.
We saw another case of some drivers a little bit upset today. A few complaining about driving standards. I'm not sure if your experience is representative considering how far ahead you were, but how did the traffic feel out there with 50 cars at such a short lap?
Honestly, I think, as the leader, you get quite a lot of respect, or more respect than some of the other cars. So personally, I didn't find it at all a problem. There was one crash on the front straight, but otherwise it was pretty clean out there for me.
Well, again, congratulations and well executed today. Is there anybody you want to thank for today's victory and for the season's championship?
Yeah, of course, you guys for putting on a great show that we can watch again, and everyone for setups, great driving all around, and Debbie for watching for the whole season.
That was Hugh Haycox, our winner and newly crowned GTP champion here in the Kamel GT series. And up next, one of the drivers I didn't think really had a realistic shot at the championship, but is now within 7 points of it going into the finale. Rob has caught up with, well, I thought we were going to talk to Niels Gore, and then suddenly he has disappeared on us. So it looks like instead, Rob is going to be talking to Matthias Hovdal, second place today into the GTPs.
Matthias Hovdal, hello and well done for your second place today. Car number 3 in second place. I think Nissan will be happy with that. Take us through how interesting it was out there. How did you feel out there?
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting this track to be so difficult for multi-class, but with the immense traction that the Audis have in the slowest corners and the immense downforce the Nissan has in the fast corners, I feel like both the first sector and the last sector create a lot of situations where it's very easy to put a foot wrong and lose both yourself and the other class a lot of time and create a lot of frustration in the process.
And with yourself there having it was actually quite quiet for yourself up until about the last 10 minutes when suddenly it dawned on you that you did get the second place and you had to sort of hold off a big old charging over a Trangrade from behind. What was your key final 10-minute strategy? Was it just hold position and just wait for the eventual attack, or just do your best and see where the race took you?
Yeah, I think the key was really all in traffic, trying to be smart with the timing and not get held up in apexes where, it can cost a lot of time. Ove never really got within the draft range, I think, in the last 10 minutes there. So I think that was kind of key to it. But I feel like I really didn't do a good job with the setup this week. I really struggled a lot with understeer in the final sector, so when I was behind Antti there for a while, I felt I had the pace, but could never actually get in position for the overtake. And I also have to say, this track really causes a lot of problems with the brake fade. I felt like I was maxing out the brake input for like a good second or two in both the first and second corners there on the braking, so that was tough.
And actually, that's another good point. Did a lot of drivers experience brake fade, or was it just sort of on a setup by setup basis today? Because, as you mentioned, having to hold the brake essentially full force into 1 and 2, was it the high speed that was causing it, or more so just the setup before it?
Well, I think it depends a lot on how much camber you run, because that gives you a bit more traction under braking and also acceleration. But of course, the brakes can only do so much. So, to maximize the traction in the first sector, I tried to go with a low camber setup, and that basically left me wanting for more brakes, is what I feel. So,
well, there's always the final race to sort of dial in those numbers and get really into the nitty-gritty details. But until then, do you have any likes or shout-outs you'd like to give Matthias for your race today?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys for the work you do with the broadcasts. It's always fun to watch it back.
And we'll be watching it back because I think all of our breath has been collectively taken. But thank you, Matthias, for coming in to talk to us today, and congratulations in your second place.
Thank you very much.
That was Matthias Hovdal. Back to you, Joe.
Looks like we've got our third place finisher in the GTOs, Ben Laughter, with us. And that finish, by my calculations, puts him within 4 points of the points leader, Nick Mukanos, who narrowly will retain it. He did score 1 point with him winding up 15th. But Ben, this is your 5th podium of the season. Knowing that you're going into the final round with that shot at the championship, how are you feeling?
Man, pretty good about it. I jokingly told Nick at the beginning of the race, I said, my only chance is to finish on a podium for you to crash out. So I told him I was going to dump him. But unfortunately, he had a miserable race today. Sounded like he just had a really rough time of it. So I feel bad for Nick, but at the same time, I'm excited for the way it's shaking out at the end of the season here. It's it's going to be tight between who? Me, Jamie, and Nick, right?
And Nick, yeah, Hideki Koivisto, you and Jamie and Niels Core. 5 of you are within 8 points by my calculations.
Oh wow! I didn't realize Nick or Nils had gotten up there. Good for him. He's got the pace for it, so no surprise to see it.
Actually, make that 6. I can count. I swear. This has been a pretty wild race for a lot of people. And you had Jamie breathing down your neck at the end. What was that like, trying to keep him in the mirrors while also navigating so many of the GTPs? There was just a horde of them out there today.
Sorry to say it, guys. We've kind of fallen back into our old ways as a series. I'm spending more time looking out the mirror, avoiding dive bombs than I am racing Jamie. And so, Jamie had really great pace today. I think I had a slight edge on him. I was able to drive pretty conservatively after my incident with a GTP knocked me off of the battle for second place. But I just starting to see a return to form here of the wrong direction with a lot of the GTP driving. Red Bull, I don't know why people were struggling with it today. It's just a more hilly version of Road America. It's not difficult, and it's got the exact same challenges as everywhere else. So I'm a little flabbergasted by some of the quality that I saw today.
That's understandable. Regardless, is there anybody you want to give a shout out for today's podium?
That opening fight between Reed, me, Andre, and Jamie was pretty fantastic. It was a lot of fun. And then Jamie all throughout the last half of the race was a lot of fun to race around, always is. So thanks to my competitors. First off, thanks to you guys for broadcasting these great races. Thanks to this community. We're putting on a show where there's 6 people fighting for the championship going into the final weeks. So that's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, I'm loving it up here. Plenty of drama for us to try and tack on to, as that was Ben Laughter who finished 3rd today. And finally, we've got Jamie Hamill-Smith. Robert has caught up with him. He'll be 2 points back from the leader going into the finale.
And that is going to be the first discussion point here for myself and Smith. Smith, congratulations, by the way, and good racing out there. It was a bit of a tight race, especially with the amount of traffic we can see there on our screens. It's a lot of traffic having to melee around. But take us through it. What was the goal for today for you before all of this happened?
I've had a couple of DNFs recently, so my number one goal was just to finish. When I managed to break away from Franco, I was kind of surprised that I had a bit of a gap. So I just tried to maintain that. That was it. Caught up to Ben and just tried not to have any contact, but tried to keep the racing close. I always love racing with Ben, so that was a lot of fun.
And with that as well, trying to sort of get under the skin of Ben Laughter. Unfortunately, he had the last lap, but you can still turn that around and still clinch the title with, as little points in it as it is between the top 5, 8 points between the 5 of you now at this stage. Is there a chance now? Are you feeling it now? Is there a possibility that you could be excited, going into the last race, extra excited even?
I want to say yes, but I feel like I'm punching above my weight. I think the only way that that I climb that ladder anymore is if other people have misfortune. I honestly don't think I can earn it on my own skill alone. I think I've just been incredibly lucky this season. I've had a few really good finishes, mostly at the misfortune of others. So I'm not thinking that I'm all the way up here on the ladder just because of my pace or my skill. I understand that a huge part of it is just luck.
Oh, well, I disagree. I mean, to get 4th, and to do it in race conditions such as this, where it was, action-packed from start to finish. I mean, hats off to you. That definitely takes some skill. And, with you, your goal today was to finish, and, with it finishing as well as it did, what would be your goal for the final race? Just, finish out strong and hope to challenge for the next season?
I think so. I think if I could be fighting for top 5 next race, I would love that. But we'll see how things go.
And Jamie, before I let you go, anything you'd like to thank out there? Would you like to send shout outs or give any thanks?
Yeah, just the whole Kamel community, and especially Caradine for sharing setups this week. That gave me a big boost, I think. I was struggling building a setup on my own.
And well, from us here in the booth, I'd like to thank you, Jamie, because that was a great race out there, and hope to see you for the final round, and hope to see you again for another season of Kamel.
Thank you. Take care.
And that was Jamie Hamill-Smith. Back to you, Joe.
Which is going to close us out. So we also want to give a big thank you to the Kamel community as a whole for bringing us back for another season of coverage. But we also want to extend some thank yous to the companies that provide the software and hardware for a broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. Thanks to the team today, Rob, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. Also, check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. There's a link in the description below for that. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. The next race is going to be Watkins Glen, Saturday, December 4th at noon Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. And then up next today, the Formula V Weekend Warriors will be going to Mid-Ohio at 3 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.